again, everyone. My name is Steve Bevans, and I'm the faculty moderator for Catholics on Call here at CTU. And I'm your retreat master for this year's online retreat, 2014 online retreat. And we're focusing this year, as you've tuned in, I hope, over the last couple of days or last couple of weeks, we're focusing on a deeper understanding of ministry. And we're looking at various descriptions of what ministry is. And so we come now to our ninth thesis or understanding, which is that Christian ministry is praxis. Now, maybe this word praxis is not a familiar word to you. Sometimes when people say it, they think it's just a fancy word for practice. But that's not really the case here. That's not what I'm really trying to explain here. When we talk about ministry as praxis, we mean praxis as reflection upon reflected upon experience. So what I mean by this is ministry is doing, and we said that, the last time, that ministry is about ministering, but it's not only doing, it's also reflecting as well. Reflection, so prayer, kind of reflecting, reading, and so forth, it's not something that is kind of outside of ministry, or something we do after ministry, or something we do to prepare for ministry. It's really part of ministry itself. So what ministry is about is doing, but also thinking and evaluating about what we're doing, praying about what we're doing, reading so that we get a deeper understanding of what we're doing. So there's this kind of circle that goes on in ministry that's about action and reflection. And as I say, one is not the reflection is not a preparation for or something we just do after. It's part of the ministry itself. And I think there are three implications for this. When we reflect on our ministry, it gives us both roots and wings. In other words, it roots us deeply in our understanding of what ministry is. So often in ministry, if you do, you kind of run out of gas. You kind of burn out. But if you're constantly reflecting, and also reflecting with people and discussing your ministry and so forth, you're rooted in Christ, you're rooted in the church, you're rooted in yourself. But also reflection gives us wings, because maybe we can think of a new way to do it, or we can learn something else, or somebody can say, well, why don't you try this? So reflection gives us both roots and wings. I love the phrase that the theologian and novelist Eugene Kennedy uses about the minister. The minister should be the theologizing person in the community. She or he should be the person who helps people see what's going on in their lives, the joys, the tragedies, the struggles, and so forth, kind of against the background, against the tapestry of faith, the Christian tradition, the Bible, and so forth. We can only be that theologizing person if we are people who realize that ministry is not just doing, but it's praxis as well. A third thing is that so much part of our ministry is helping other people understand what's going on in their lives. There's a pair of writers named Stone and Duke who talk about the fact that every person of faith is really someone who does theology. And there's a kind of an embedded theology that everybody has. And what ministry is about, in large part, is helping people understand what that theology is. Make it more deliberative in their lives. Make it more critical in their lives. A woman by the name of Patricia Killen talks about the fact that for her, one of the most important tasks, if not the most important task of ministry today, is to help people become theologians, is to help them become people of praxis as well. So I think this is a really important idea, that Christian ministry is not just doing, but it's also reflecting on our doing and helping people as well to reflect on their own lives, on their own doing. Tenthly, Christian ministry is done in prayer. I guess this goes without saying, but I think it's an important thing to bring in. The minister is someone who prays. The minister is a woman, is a man of prayer. And I think this is because of the fact that we're not doing it just by ourselves. We're not just do-gooders. We're doing it, remember, go back to our first description or our first thesis, we're doing it because we are continuing the work of Christ. We do it in the name of Christ. We are sacraments of Christ. And so we have to be in contact with Him. We have to, be people who are constantly dialoguing with Him in prayer and letting Him speak to us in our own hearts. There's a wonderful image that Bishop George Niederauer, the former Archbishop of San Francisco, gives when he talks about prayer. He talks about prayer as a tale of two benches. He says there's the bench, there's the bus bench, and there's the park bench. And he says, you sit in a bus bench, you sit on a bus bench, and you wait for the bus, and you're looking at your watch, and you're hoping that it's going to come on time. And the best thing is to be there the least amount of time, because you're waiting for the bus to get on the bus to go someplace. But then there's the park bench, and you just go to the park, and you sit down, and you look at children playing, and you smell the grass, and you feel the breeze on your face, and so forth. He says, so often our prayer is done on the bus bench. We're kind of waiting, for something to happen. We're doing maybe take the least amount of time. What we have to do is learn to pray as if we're sitting on a park bench. Just let the wind blow over us. Just try to be aware of what's going on around us. Just enjoy being in the presence of God. And this is something that's going to nourish us. This is something that's going to shape us. This is something that's going to fortify us for the hard task of ministry. Because ministry is not a drudgery. Ministry is a joy. And it's only when we're on that park bench that we can really experience that. So let me give you two quotations for reflection. The first one is actually a paraphrase from the great spiritual writer Henry Nouwen. Henry Nouwen says that Christian leaders of the future will have to be theologians. Ministry is praxis. And if you're going to be a minister, you have to reflect. Christian leaders of the future, he says, will have to be theologians. Second quotation is from the great German theologian Karl Rahner, who says something similar. I think it applies to both our descriptions or theses this time, and it's this. Christians in the future will have to be mystics if they are to be Christians at all.